Morning. Lou, good Monday morning to you. How are you, my friend?
Always a good Monday when it's with you, bud. What's going on?
Well, Congress is now blown out of Washington for another 2 weeks. The Ryan budget got passed by the House before they left, leaving Barack Obama all alone to lead or not to lead, and that's where we begin.
Well, but I think what we're seeing is Barack Obama worried about getting reelected, which he should be, and really afraid to say much or do much. He's sort of tiptoeing around these things and hoping that the Gang of Six or that the Ryan budget or something engenders enough controversy and enough interest that something will happen. But it is not the leadership you would expect from the White House. And,
particularly not from somebody who is so ideologically committed as Barack Obama is. He clearly was the most liberal senator when he served in that body. And you know that this guy's got an ideological agenda, and yet this lack of leadership is puzzling to me.
It's not to me, not at all. But you got to remember that when the president gets reelected, the only thing his staff wants and he wants is to get reelected and to get his place in history. And he knows it's going to be a tough reelection campaign, and he is doing what may be politically smart, and that's really to do nothing. But let me just shift a little bit in this leadership thing.
All right.
You mentioned it. We are looking at gas prices steadily go up. The summer is when the prices get the highest. Now, I don't think they'll hit $5, but they're certainly going to be in the fairly substantial for a gallon of gas.
Yeah, they already are in a number of cities, and we're crowding 380 here.
Yep. And so what's the issue? Well, the issue isn't necessarily those prices, but the issue is we're importing about 72% of our oil, and we have no energy policy. Let me say that again. We have no energy policy. And Barack's been there 2 years. He can't blame that on Bush. Well, he probably could, but I don't think that'll hold. And we need an energy policy because we're not going to solve the gas prices overnight. And, going into the strategic reserve, that's for 3 days. That's all that is. That isn't really much at all.
And it's not for that. It's for a legitimate major national emergency and a complete supply disruption. And I've never supported going in after that. But I got to tell you, it seems to me like his energy policy is pretty clear. It's go green. But we don't have alternative energy sources that are ready to power America, not by a long shot.
No, and we've seen in some places, even like Germany and other places, they've had energy in that, and they're trying to go green. They've had to revert back and say, hey, we don't have it yet. And that, what about, despite what's happened on the nuclear thing in Japan, we've got to look at nuclear energy. We've got to drill in responsible places. We've got to use shale oil. We've got to spend more money on the liquefaction, gasification of coal. But if it sounds like I know what I'm talking about, I really do know a little bit about this. I wrote the legislation with Congressman Walter Flowers and that in the mid-'70s, for the electric car, for photovoltaic cells. All this legislation was on the books, but then typically the price of oil went down, and so did the research going down. And we're not going to solve it now, but if we don't start today, someone's going to be on this show with you, and you're going to be talking about it 10 years from now. We're going to say, hey, we don't have an energy policy, and now we're importing 80-some% of our oil. But where is the leadership coming from Obama?
Well, I don't know on that, and if for no other reason he ought to be leading, because correct me if I'm wrong, if gas is $4.50 a gallon in the fall of 2012, he's got a real problem getting reelected.
Well, he does, but I'm more worried about the country because we're going to have a real problem. The economic recovery that's going slowly would certainly hit a big bump in the road, and you add that bump in the road with the question of are we going to get a deal on the spending and so forth, and we could be back in again to another recession.
Lou, let's shift the no leadership topic over to the Republican side. No real clear leader in the GOP presidential field right now, although Donald Trump has spiked to the lead in some polls, going after Obama on the birth certificate, talking tough about China. Karl Rove calls Donald Trump a joke candidate. What do you think?
I just hate to use terms like that about anybody. I think anybody's got the right to run, and you have to judge them in what they say. But what I've written about Trump and so forth is he's not a stayer. He's having fun at this point doing it. I don't think there's any way he wants his financial records to come out to everybody. I don't think he's going to run, and I think even if he did, he would be gone by the first primary. But I think you have to respect somebody who's got the guts to get up there and, you know, talk about wanting to be president. He certainly would not be my choice. And, you know, I sent that email I write and everything goes to a whole bunch of people, including those in office and around the country. It's been interesting, the replies I've gotten back, because I suggested that if there's nobody out there, maybe even though the country was Bushed out, we ought to turn to Bush at this point. He didn't want to run, even think about it, till 2016, but we have no leader in the Republican Party. And is this a place for Bush? And the responses came back from people who'd served and been there, and everybody likes and respects Jeb, but a lot of people are still Bushed out, and that my suggestion didn't seem viable from an informal group of people who wrote me across the country.
Is there one who looks like the strongest horse in this field to you right now? I mean, you know, no indication Jeb will get in. Of those who are in or flirting with it, do you still see Romney as the front runner?
Well, he's in jeans now. We've made some progress. So, you know, he doesn't look like a used yacht salesman or something. You know, I'm serious. I think he's a bright guy. If I had to pick somebody in ability right now, I'd pick Romney, and maybe the governor.
Pawlenty?
Yeah, Pawlenty. I think those two are probably well qualified. Romney seems to have trouble connecting with the people, and he's got that health bill in Massachusetts, which is not a killer, but certainly a herder. And I just don't see anybody breaking out of the pack. Now, another thing about this, what's this do to Obama?
I got 30 seconds. Go ahead, Lou.
Okay, well, quickly, I'm not so sure it's a help for Obama. It's nice to run against somebody instead of everybody. And even though the Republicans are running against each other, if they keep it relatively simple, the Republicans are going to be able to drive home the fact that they have a policy. They're trying to reduce the debt. Obama doesn't have an energy policy. He doesn't have a fiscal policy. And that, after a period of time, wears away, because that's going to be in the airways between now and probably next March. And
right.
It'll only be Republicans on the airways, bud.
We'll watch it closely. Lou Fry talking politics. Always appreciate it. Have a great day. Catch you next Monday, same time?
Same time. Bye.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. Next, the show is yours. It's Open Mind Monday. Your take on any topic. Call me. Sound off. The Budman will take your calls and keep an open mind. 8:12, real-time traffic and weather together now on the Twos. You know, I arrived at the Tea Party on Friday afternoon and turned a lot of heads. I was in the lap of luxury, pulling in my fabulous Fountain Acura RL sedan, jet black and beautiful, high performance, luxury, and a great price too. There's so much to recommend the Acura lineup, and Fountain Acura is just one of the finest group of folks in the car business you will ever find. And right now at Fountain Acura, on the RL and on their SUV, the big MDX, fabulous financing rates as low as 0.9% for well-qualified buyers like you. We're talking about brand new 2011s. And if you're already driving an Acura, you know how sensational they are. You love them. You want to stay in an Acura. They can help you at Fountain upgrade to a similar 2011 Acura model, brand new with no money down and a similar monthly payment. You need to check it out. What cars? What a dealership. Fountain Acura, South OBT, just south of the Florida Mall. Online, fountainacura.com.
need an oil change? Hello, it's Jay Zimbauer, the car doctor. We can do that for you and much more. We do everything from oil changes to engine replacements. Call us at 407-831-5620 or Zimbauer'sAutoCenter.com. Here's another question from the Geico Savings Mailbag. Heather from Bakersfield rates. How do you feel about rain? Well, Heather, if you're talking about the downpour of savings people are getting on their motorcycle insurance with Geico, then I love it. It's quite literally a money monsoon or a late afternoon cash shower. And those riders who combine their motorcycle and auto insurance will have an even higher chance of savings cloudbursts. Now, the only kind of rain I don't like is the wet kind. Humidity makes my hair frizz. Call Geico or visit geico.com today to see how much our multi-policy discount could save you. Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Is texting getting way out of hand? You know, I can't... Oh, please. Oh, that is funny. Where was I? Oh, yes, about texting. Pardon me. LOL, you are my BFF. So, like I was saying, switch to Geico now and you can save hundreds on your car insurance. For a free rate quote, visit geico.com to see how much you could save. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. You get up early. You work late. Weekends off? Not likely. Why? Because as a small business owner, it's more than your job. It's what you love. And you need technology that keeps pace with your passion. That's why Verizon delivers all the wireless solutions you need to make sure your business runs. Verizon technology gives you the power to enable growth and boost productivity. Because only Verizon offers an arsenal of advanced devices, powerful business apps, and mobile security safeguards, all backed by unrivaled customer support and the fastest, most advanced 4G network in America. More small businesses choose Verizon Wireless than any other wireless carrier because they know small business with the best technology rules. Now get the lightning fast Thunderbolt by HTC for only $249.99. No rebate required. Exclusively at Verizon. Visit any Verizon store, VerizonWireless.com/smallbusiness, or call 1-800-BZW-4BIZ. Requires new tier activation and data pack. No determination and money is filed. Preference results based on third-party study. This portion of 540 WFLA is brought to you by MetaFastFlorida.com.
You know, I'm so proud of our great exclusive lineup of advertisers on Bud Hettinger Live because they all bring something very special to the table I don't think you can find anywhere else, or I wouldn't be representing them, I promise you. And so it is with Lucas Nursery. You can buy flowers in lots of places, but there is no place like Lucas Nursery. Acre after acre of everything that grows in this wonderful family-owned nursery where they've been working the same plot of land for the better part of 100 years. It is fabulous, and the centerpiece is the amazing and unique indoor butterfly encounter. Bring the kids and the grandkids and yourselves inside of the butterfly encounter, then walk among all the beautiful flowers and shrubs. That's where you want to do your shopping for anything that grows. There's no place like Lucas Nursery, convenient to everybody, just off the 417 Red Bug exit, corner of Slavia and Aloma. The website, LUKAS, nursery.com.
Words to describe the Buttman. Courage. I didn't say that. Courage. What is wrong with you people? Tolerance. How dare you say such a thing? Here's your chance to talk about anything you want, and there's nothing we can do about it. Still my show. It's my porch. You're a guest on it, and I'm glad you're here, but give me a break. Open Mind Monday on Bud Hettinger Live begins now on 540 WFLA.
Until 9 o'clock, your calls on any topic. Tea Party comments on the line. We'll get to them in a second, but first to get on with the Bud Man here from Orlando, Scott. Good morning to you. What's on your mind, Scott?
Good morning, Bud. Great show on Friday afternoon. I enjoyed every minute of it. Sorry I didn't get a chance to shake your hand.
Well, thank you. I thought it was a terrific program put together, and we had some phenomenal speakers, from Rubio to Herman Cain and everyone in between.
Absolutely. Now, if Congress is going to act like a petulant child and not respond to the will of the people, then it's time for the people to demonstrate that we do still control what happens.
Now, let's be specific here. When you say they're not responsive to what the people want, what are we talking about here? Could be anything.
Cut spending. They
All right.
are not going to stop spending our money. They are not tax and spend. They are spend and then try to justify why they have to tax because they've overspent.
I have no argument with you there.
Just like if you have a child that has a credit card that will not respect it, you take the card away. We can't really take the credit card away from Congress, so we take the cash flow away.
What are you talking about doing here, Scott?
Change your W-4 at work and stop paying. File exempt. That's the cash flow that the government runs on. Interrupt that cash flow, and you're going to get an attentive ear in Congress very quickly, or they're going to have to follow your suggestion and start selling off assets to raise the money to pay their daily obligations.
But if you become delinquent in your taxes, they're going to come after you and throw you in the pokey, aren't they?
Well, I tell you what, if they say that 12 to 15 million illegal aliens in this country is too many for them to go after, do you think we could find 10 million patriots in this country to stop paying their taxes on a short term? And they can't come after you until April 15th of 2012, because at that point, that's when your tax money is due.
All right, Scott, thank you. Appreciate your take on that. Open Mind Monday coming up next. We're taking you to the Tea Party for at least a couple of calls, but whatever you want to talk about, I'm here for you at 407-916-5400. Checking traffic and weather as we always do on the twos. Good morning now at 8:22. Sunny at 86 today, 64 degrees here in Orlando. Open Mind Monday. Pam from Winter Garden, you came on up and said hello to the Bud Man at the Tea Party on Friday, and that was fun to see you there.
Yes. Oh, Bud, I have to say I appreciate the organizers of the Tea Party, but you, Bud, you did such a wonderful job in seeing that event, and you look so handsome, but a little hot. You must have been hot up there.
Well, from my end, it was all beaten down on the band shell. There's no question about it. I knocked off about 3 Gatorades when that was over. Yeah, but it was absolutely worth it, and it was wonderful, and to see all of you Patriots there. What was the highlight for you, Pam?
Herman Cain. I tell you, Bud, he is a breath of fresh air, unapologetic in his faith, unapologetic in his capitalistic free market ideas, the fair tax. I think he could be a leader for the Republican Party, but he just needs some name recognition, so we need to work to get his name out there.
Well, I got to tell you, he was the keynoter, and he was in the last position, and he was late because his flight was delayed coming down from a Tea Party event in New Hampshire, but almost everybody waited for him. He just stood that crowd up. He was electrifying. He was far more dynamic there, no teleprompter, no nothing, just walking and talking freely about issues and things on his heart. Much more dynamic than he ever is when I hear him sub for one of the big national talk show hosts on the radio. I thought his speech was absolutely electrifying.
Yes,
electrifying. This guy, I would love to see this guy in the field, and because he would be almost impossible to compete with in a debate. He is that good. And if he ever won the nomination and took on Barack Obama, he would eat his lunch in a debate.
Oh, I agree, but he was so good. And, you know, I listened to him on the radio all the time, and I expected the voice of Herman Cain.
Right.
But I'm telling you, that man is a gifted speaker.
Phenomenal.
I can see why he ran such a successful company.
Yep.
We need him.
All right, Pam, thanks so much, and thanks for coming up on Friday. It was great talking with you. Fred's in St. Cloud. You were at the Tea Party on Friday, Fred?
Yes, my wife and I were, and thank you for being there. I have to tell you, Herman Cain, like Pam, he just lit us up. And one of the problems we had, though, is we were in one of the metered areas, and my wife had put enough quarters in for till 6:45.
Uh-oh.
She was getting a little nervous. I have to tell you, it would have been worth a ticket to listen to Herman Cain. I'll tell you, this man is phenomenal, and we just love him. So
that was the highlight for you, Fred. Thank you. 407-916-5400. It's Open Mind Monday, your show until 9 o'clock. Let me say something else about the lead speaker, the special guest speaker. our junior Senator Marco Rubio. Many think he is the preeminent, quote-unquote, rock star of the political party and will be president someday. I had a chance, I've had him on the show many times, but we have not met personally until behind the band shell when we were waiting for the event to begin, and he was the lead speaker. It's hard for me to adequately describe to you how completely comfortable and friendly Marco Rubio is, not just to a media guy like me that he thinks might be able to do him some good politically or some harm politically, but to everybody. Absolutely, as man on the street, comfortable and genuine. It was just remarkable. I don't know that I've ever seen anyone that appealing at that level. It was just, and I think that personal touch is going to put him in very, very good stead. You know, as he grows into the big-time political scene. I think Marco Rubio is right when he says, no, I'm not going to run for vice president or president this time around. And I hope he holds to that till he gets the experience that could literally make him a great president someday. Keep in mind, he's not even quite 40. I was so impressed. And Herman Cain impressed with him personally. And the others as well. Joe the plumber showed up. Had no idea he was coming. Congresswoman Sandy Adams, who just cast the right vote, the courageous vote, like Rubio did, against that bogus spending cut deal that wasn't what we had been told it was. The 39 bill that was $352 million. She had just come down from Congress. She was a surprise entrant as well. And she's about as real and genuine and likable as it gets. And she stood the place up because people saluted her courageous and correct vote on behalf of her constituents and what's right in this country. And other speakers as well on the fair tax, on all kinds of other issues near and dear to the Tea Party movement's collective hearts. And you folks were the absolute salt of the earth on a work day in the heat. You were there, some from 2 o'clock on until the Herman Cain speech that didn't wrap up until 7:15. It was awesome. God bless you, one and all. More coming up. Your calls on Open Mind Monday. Great pictures and videos Jen has posted of the Tea Party. Check them out on the website, 540WFLA.com. 828.
The company used odd-size stationery, about half an inch shorter than standard. When Barry asked why, from intern to executive came the same blank stare and a shrug, because that's how we always did it. Barry persisted, finally going to the company's longest-term employee, Myrna. In the early days, the lean days, Myrna explained the company owner got a deal on odd-sized envelopes and trimmed the stationery a half-inch to fit. The company eventually got more envelopes, but the habit stuck. This is Howard Butt Jr. of Randy Lodge. We've always done it that way can be a cool reason to still do it that way. But we are just because habits and the high call of our daily work. For more information, visit ourdailywork.org. Did you know the laws regarding child support have changed effective January 1st of this year? If you are currently paying child support, you may be entitled to a reduction in your child support payment. I'm attorney Matt Emmett with KL. My firm has attorneys devoted solely to taking your phone call. If you're currently paying child support, call 1-800-NEW-LAWS. That's 800-NEW-LAWS, or go to lawyersap.com. The call is free. KL. You have questions, we have answers. Office Orlando. Live continues with news from the Arts Orlando News Center on 940 WFLA. 6:39 Michelle Marilla, 540 WFLA News. After 3 years of delivering bad news about Florida's unemployment rate, economist Rebecca West of the Agency for Workforce Innovation says there's finally some encouraging trend to for BHL. Over the month, Valley Road Traffic Center. See that extra slow traffic eastbound along I-4 from the 408 and just along Hills Drive. Give yourself a few extra minutes in this area. You're also very heavy westbound along I-4 between 434 and Maple Boulevard, but not doing too badly from this area. Usually sluggish traffic westbound along the 408 from the Greenway into Goldenrod. And watch out for a recorded vehicle fire along McBarry Boulevard on the on-ramp to the Greenway that may slow you down as well. From the traffic center, I'm Courtney Gray.
Traffic on Air Online, a service of Serrano Beach Resort and Conference Center. Hey, Orlando residents, enjoy a slice of paradise about 2 hours away and with zero hassles. Serrano Beach Resort on St. Pete Beaches, Sugarwood Beaches, Hollywood Perfect Sunsets, and more. Visit Serrano.com for details. Serrano, imagine it's all here.
Half off Depot Brady's in Waterford Lakes.
ODealsDaily.com. From 540 WFLA, Orlando's 24-hour weather channel, the only chance for rain this week will push in on Tuesday night. Otherwise, it's going to be hot this week. Sunshine high today, close to 90. Low to mid-90s tomorrow. Weather updated around the clock on 540 WFLA. Traffic night, that's the weather channel. Calling it a life-changing experience. Tomorrow's leading night would be an understatement. Building a new tomorrow. 407-916-5400. Toll free. 866-916-5400.
And we're wide open because it's your show till 9 o'clock. It's Open Mind Monday, your take on any topic. One of the things I've been hitting you between the eyes with this morning, I am absolutely convinced now, and this is right in the Tea Party wheelhouse, that we should not have the debt limit raised. I will oppose the raising of the debt limit no matter what the consequences. We have got to change course. We got to draw a line in the sand. That is my bottom line. And if you're a true Tea Party conservative, you ought to have no problem being with a Budman on that one. 407-916-5400. Any topic to Titusville on the coast. Good morning, Mary. Thanks for calling. It's Open Mind Monday, and you're on.
Yes, I'm calling about the tornado that struck North Carolina.
Oh, my goodness, they had so many. It's just been a tragic scene up there.
There's a fantastic story coming out of North Carolina I haven't heard on the news, and I'd like you to be the first to hear it. My friend has a brother who's 6'6", and he's not young, and they were in the Lowe's when the roof went off, and this guy started up in the air, and her brother just reached up back and grabbed him by his belt and pulled him back down.
Now, this was in the Lowe's Home Improvement store?
Yes.
Yeah, now that's a heck of, my goodness, that's like right out of the Twister movie. I remember that when they were all in the storm cellar, and the dad got sucked right up in the air and out of that and never survived. Now the Lowe's story is interesting if it's the same one, where the manager saw the Twister coming at him from across the street and got all the employees and all the customers into a back area with no windows and saved all of their lives as the Lowe's just was blown to smithereens.
That's right, but when the roof, I assume when the roof went off, you know, the wind was sucking this guy, and her brother just reached up and pulled him back down. The ironic thing is, the guy that pulled it, the brother was white, and the black guy was going up through the roof, and you never hear that, and I think Obama has set this country back to the 1960s.
I don't have any idea what race is. I would have to believe this is one human being reaching out to another, Mary. I can't believe that I can't believe you're sliding the race card into this thing.
Oh, no. I'm just saying we need to hear all these good stories about how the races work together. I'm sick and tired of hearing all this stuff about we don't like them, they don't like us, whatever. I think it's just human to human. That's what I'm trying to point out. I'm sick and tired of these people saying this.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a dramatic story out of that Lowe's in North Carolina. I mean, this cluster of tornadoes, like 241 tornadoes in all of these states over about a 3-day period from this one weather system. And North Carolina has never experienced anything in known history like they experienced over the weekend, and it's terribly tragic. I think we lost a couple of dozen people in the Carolinas. Could have lost a whole lot more at that Lowe's. Judy's in DeLand on BHL. What's on your mind this morning, Judy?
Hi, Bud. Thank you for taking my call. You got me so tickled this morning about Herman Cain.
Oh, he was great.
when you had the talk one morning about who are you excited about in the Republican Party,
Right.
and you just weren't excited about anybody, and I called in and said, how come you're not mentioning Herman Cain? And you were a little bit lukewarm about him, and if he can turn you around, I feel real positive.
Well, I've never heard him on the stump before. I mean, I've heard him on the radio, and he's a rock-solid conservative guy, you know, but he's a little bit low-key. He's almost professorial. But, boy, when you get him out in front of a live crowd, he lights it up, and his extemporaneous speaking skills combined with the substance of his conservative message, this guy blew me away.
Well,
awesome.
I'm just thrilled because that's how I feel about him.
Oh, boy.
And what he needs is exposure. The man's dynamite.
Yeah, he really is.
He might be our dark horse in the Republican Party.
Can you imagine if the Republicans fielded Herman Cain against Barack Obama? Can you just imagine? As I told him at the end of when I came out to greet him at the end of his speech and everybody was going crazy, I said, Herman, I try to make it a practice of not endorsing candidates, but I'd like to see you win the Republican nomination just so I could watch the debates with Obama, because he'd kill him. He'd eat his lunch.
Yep.
He is stunning, great American.
Keep talking about him.
Yeah, thank you, Judy, very much. And, of course, the thing is, it's about more than communication skills. It's about substance. And it's also about what are the qualifications? What does this man bring to the table? This guy is a business powerhouse. This guy rose to become the president and CEO of Godfather's Pizza. This guy knows business and finance and economics. And this guy is as rock-solid a conservative as you will find. You know, and forgive me now for sliding the race card into the debate here because I hate doing that. The issue would be, and many would say, that the Republican Party, you will not find enough Republicans who will be comfortable with a man of color as their presidential nominee. But I think anybody who spends any time in the presence of Herman Cain when he's on the stump speaking would have to be electrified by what he brings to the table. Jenna, what were your impressions of the Tea Party? Because you were down there with other members of our staff, and you're seeing it from a completely different perspective than I am. And frankly, from where I was as MC, I would go out and introduce the speakers, then I would have to come over to the side, and it was very hard for me to hear everything that everyone was saying. I did have a good look at the audience, and we had a terrific crowd of folks I thought who were really on fire for this country and on fire for this program.
It's interesting. Last year when we did the Tea Party down at City Hall, we didn't see as many protesters. This year it was almost a volatile environment over towards the street. It was very, very volatile. We had people getting kicked out by the cops. We had cops and security there.
Oh, and there was one or two guys who were screaming at Marco Rubio, and he handled them pretty well. We have that video on the website right now. Absolutely.
It was just, to me, it was very telling of the situation that the country is in, because it was very, very, just very passionate on both sides. And I was very interested in the protesters. To me, that was a sign that this was a big deal, that we had so many protesters there.
Well, and I think it is a sign of a big deal, because I think that they are now beginning to understand that the Tea Party movement was not just a spike, just an aberration, just a blip on the scope, and it's going away, a passing fancy. You know, and the Democrats will try to convince you that the Tea Party has seen its best days, but it's not true. And the fact that it is, I think you have people out there who understand that this is the preeminent force in American politics today. And for those who believe in conservative values, the Tea Party movement is flat out the last best hope for saving this country from economic destruction. There isn't any question about it. And I salute the folks who put this whole thing together, the Central Florida Tea Party Council, fairtaxpatriots.org. Clyde Fabretti was the guy I worked with most directly. All of the top players in the Tea Party movement around Central Florida were appropriately recognized and honored, and the list of speakers that were brought to bear on Friday afternoon, I will never forget. I mean, I was just riveted to everything I was able to hear, and just seeing the sea of red, white, and blue, and the flags and the signs, and the passion and the commitment that those of you who made it your business to be with us have for this great country, I got to tell you, you lit the Bud Man up in a way I haven't experienced since I can't remember when. Thanks, and God bless you all. More of your calls, 407-916-5400. Toll free, 1-866-916-5400. Any topic. It's Open Mind Monday. We're on it until 9 o'clock with you. 8:42 now. You know, I have a terrific idea for lunch or dinner today. How about hula hands, the great Orlando tradition I just love so much. You know, if you want great food and plenty of it made from scratch at a great price with friendly service and a warm, inviting atmosphere, Hula Hands is where you need to be. Hula Hands is where filet mignon meets truck stop fries. It really is. It's a huge menu for every taste and every price range as well. And now at Hula Hands, an amazing new menu of 30 small plates from just $3. Flatbread, sliders, kebabs, it's all incredible. And as I say, made from scratch. The best happy hour in town, because at Hula Hands, it's 2 for $1 all the time. Hula Hands, 4 locations: I-Drive, East Colonial, University near UCF, 192 in Kissimmee. Nothing like it. Learn more online at hulahands.com, and lunch or dinner today at Hula Hands. Okay, here we go. And the Budman here, and I hope you'll join me Tuesday morning starting at 6. Governor Rick Scott refusing to sign a budget without tax cuts he wants. Is he being stubborn or just looking out for Florida? At 6:35, don't miss our daily Wall Street Journal report. At 7:45, you'll hear from Rush Limbaugh on his morning update and a chance to win prizes with a brain buster question of the day. And at 8, do you need a technology diet?
BHL in the morning.
And the Budman here, and I hope you'll join me Tuesday morning starting at 6. Governor Rick Scott refusing to sign a budget without tax cuts he wants. Is he being stubborn or just looking out for Florida? At 6:35, don't miss our daily Wall Street Journal report. At 7:45, you'll hear from Rush Limbaugh on his morning update and a chance to win prizes with a brain buster question of the day. And at 8, do you need a technology diet?
Bud Henninger, mornings on 540 WFLA.
All right. Call now and receive 35 meals free with a purchase of a full program at your local MetaFast Center.
Gonna
appropriate saving face always includes with massage, facials, and nails. 407-883-5518 or savingface.biz.
You know, the great alternative to paint is made right here in Orlando, and you need never paint again. Don't shell out to a painter until you've gotten a free estimate on the paint alternative that is Colorcrete, made by Colorcrete of Central Florida. Jim Dawson and his family have run this business for a half a century. They've got great people, great crews, and an extraordinary product you need to learn about. Don't paint. Colorcrete. You're going to love Colorcrete, and you're really going to love it when they hand you a 25-year guarantee on the job, because Colorcrete does things that paint can never do. It creates a protective barrier against the destructive wind-driven rain we get so often. It prevents mildew, and it'll put a stop to peeling, chalking, and cracking. It's amazing, and you get a 25-year guarantee and a great Colorcrete price. Even better now, they've reduced it 10% to give you some help in this tough economy, and they'll even throw in a free pressure cleaning of your driveway and sidewalks. It doesn't get any better than this. Colorcrete. Get your free estimate today. You will thank the Budman, I promise you. 407-851-3442. Colorcrete, 407-851-3442. More online. Visit them at colorcreteusa.com. It's your show on Open Mind Monday, and here's Robert in Orlando. Good morning, Robert.
Hey, Budman. I just wanted to chime in on this whole issue with the Democrats and the scare tactics here with the economy about taking food out of kids' mouths and, you know, making old people eat dog food and that sort of thing. It comes around every time we go through a budget-cutting process. And I think the answer I really got listening to your own station in the afternoon when, you know, Dave Ramsey comes on and the entire country is faced with this issue, which is, you know, you've got family members that need help, and you want to loan them money or you want to help them out, but you can't. You literally can't because you don't have the money in your pocket yourself. And it's like my dad used to tell me when I was a young man and first getting credit cards and things like that. You can't spend money you don't have.
Amen to that.
And I just think that's the thing that we need to think about when everybody's trying to be, you know, getting on the air with these talking points and trying to, you know, paint these pictures of people that are just, you know, destitute and won't be able to live without public assistance. It's not that America's ever turned a blind eye to these people. It's just that we can't afford to go on in this manner, and you've touched on it many times before.
Oh, yeah, and let me tell you also, related to this, the latest scare tactics are really pouring it on with the Obama administration. Geithner was out there on the talk shows on Sunday saying Congress must and Congress will vote to raise the debt limit, that it would be a catastrophe if it didn't happen. It's all of this stuff. We went through this with the TARP. We went through this with the Obama stimulus plan. Got to do it now. Don't ask any questions. No time to think about it. Otherwise we're going off the economic cliff in the morning. And here they are playing this game again. And I have come out this morning, foursquare in the wake of the Tea Party, saying that's it. No more. I will not vote. If I'm in Congress, I would not vote to raise the debt limit no matter what. Must face the consequences, face the music, and put our house in order.
Absolutely. We don't have to do this forever. We just need to do it right now. You know, it doesn't mean that we can't go back to being a more giving and encompassing society down the road. It just means that right now we got to cut. We got to cut everywhere.
Amen again. I'll say it again because you are so on the money. Robert, thank you for a great call. One more Open Mind Monday segment, and we're back on the phones in 60 seconds. Right now at 8:52, real-time traffic and weather together. Checked one more time on the twos. Thanks, Courtney. Sunny and 86 today. Super day. 65 in Orlando now. To Brooksville, and here's Mike on Open Mind Monday. Take it away, Mike.
Hey, Bud.
Hey.
I want to thank you and everybody that got that tea party together. I had a great time. I drove over from Brooksville, it's quite a ways.
That is a haul.
Over there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it was well worth it. Marco Rubio was just amazing. I love that guy. I don't know if that makes me weird or what, but he is.
I don't think so. I met him, as I said, I don't know if you listened to me before, face-to-face for the first time behind the band shell while he was waiting to come out. And I scarcely can remember anyone in political life who is so friendly and so genuine and so completely comfortable in his own skin as Marco Rubio.
He is great. And then Herman Cain, my God, what a dude.
You hung in there to the end, huh?
Oh, I did. I saw people leaving, and I'm like going, man, he's on his way. If he's working this hard to get here, I'm staying. You know, and you know, you all were talking about the protesters. I don't know if you saw the guy with the sign that had the fist on it, and that's the same fist that you saw up in Wisconsin with the unions. They're using that symbol, and they had a video cameras following that guy. He was trying to egg somebody on to do something so they could video it and then, you know, use it as propaganda.
Oh, they're always trying to bait the Tea Partiers here, you know, so that they can offer some kind of proof that we're racist, that we're extremist or hateful or whatever, you know. And it does not surprise me they were out trying to do that.
But we need to realize that this is really a war between traditional America and this progressive thing that's going on right now, whatever you want to call it, because they're trying to destroy our culture, you know. And I grew up in a military-based situation most of my life, you know, or at least my younger life. And I remember going to the theater on base and pledging allegiance with my hand over my heart. And, you know, you don't see that as much anymore. Our culture's really been diminished, and I see the Tea Parties bringing this back out again. People being patriotic.
Not extremist, mainstreamist. That's who we are, Mike, and you're one of us. God bless you, my friend. Thank you. And to Leesburg and Andy on Open Mind Monday. Andy, what's up?
Hey, good morning, Bud. I just had some thoughts about how the president on the campaign / promotion of his new budget tour, how that will play into any dealings like the 2008 election, where they had a lot of voter registration fraud, and you know, with this administration, the Justice Department's really looking forward to turning a blind eye to infractions that appear to not shine a light favorably. I was wondering if there's going to be any oversight.
Well, specifically about what?
Well, just, you know, they had the big fiasco in Texas where the Clinton campaign and the Obama campaign, the numbers were fudgy, and then you had Acorn that had the voter registration issues, and then you had the Black Panther issues.
Right.
And then you've got the president who's trying to raise $1 billion for his campaign. You know, it's well,
when you say oversight, I don't know what the source of that would be, except you know, for talk radio. You're not going to get it from the mainstream media. You know, and I don't know. You may get it in some cases from Congress.
Well, I'm wondering if the state's attorney generals could have any oversight on campaign practices.
Well, I don't know. I will have to say to you how that would all be structured. I'd have to look into further. But Andy, thank you. I appreciate the call. That's Open Mind Monday. And thanks. Appreciate it. We do it every Monday here in the final hour. Most of the hour goes to your phone calls on any topic. So, yesterday, Linda and I went to see a movie because we love American history, and this was focused around the Lincoln assassination. The Conspirator. It is a Robert Redford production. Now, I loved Robert Redford in The Natural, few other movies, but the guy politically is a left-wing wacko activist. And I said to Linda before we went, I said, this guy's going to put a spin on this. This is all about the conspiracy to kill Abraham Lincoln and the trial of the conspirators, 4 of whom ended up being hanged, including the first woman in American history ever to be executed, Mary Surratt. And it all goes around that. It's kind of a long and ponderous movie. It's well done in some ways, and boy, it really is a great period piece because it really feels like 1865. But here is the deal. They were tried under a military tribunal. See where I'm going here? And this movie, for 2 solid hours, Redford was making his leftist point about the prospect of military tribunals for those at Guantanamo. It was so blatantly obvious to me. Now, of course, the Obama administration hasn't been able to get that done because of pushback in Congress and across the land, to try him in civilian courts. So here is Redford out there, because the way they portrayed this military tribunal, they stacked the deck. It was unfair. These people never had a chance. There was no justice. It was preordained what the verdicts were going to be. And so the Club Gitmo thing with the military tribunals, which is now what we're going to have, how terribly unfair and un-American they are. And that was the Robert Redford message in The Conspirator. When you see it, you will understand what I mean. That is not to say that there are not great redeeming features in this historic movie. However, this guy is clearly driving his left wing